We work all our lives saving for retirement. We consider the cost of living, healthcare expenses, even how much we need to have fun. Through all this, most people often overlook one factor that can kill the whole plan. So today, advice on avoiding the tax pitfalls.
And joining me once again, Phil Huff. He is the Vice President of Independence Wealth Advisors. Good to have you back, Phil.
Glad to be here.
All right, first off, I want you to clarify something. What is the difference between a tax preparer and a tax planner?
Yeah, so someone once told me a tax preparer is similar to a history teacher, where they look at the past and they tell you what you did wrong. And a tax planner has a little bit of a different scope on what he's looking at. A tax planner is not just looking at last year, but he's looking at this year and all the years in the future. A tax planner wants to know, what can we do today to help our situation 5, 10, 15 years from now?
So what would you say then is the point, or why is tax planning such a big part of what the wealthy do? I mean, obviously that leads to success, right?
Yeah, it's a big focus for not just the wealthy. I'd say it's a big focus for a lot of different folks and different investors in retirement. At the end of the day, proper tax management can net 1% to 2% higher rate of return. That might sound like a small number, but if you're stretching it over 20 or 30 years, that can equate to a really big number. On top of that, we want to make sure we have our fingers on the pulse of tax code, because tax laws change constantly. So we want to make sure that we're keeping pace with those changes.
And I also feel like people don't realize how many things have taxes involved, right? I mean, they're coming at you in your 401ks, your IRAs, your RMDs, and all of these things, you know, someone like you who is aware of all these is able to kind of look at the big picture.
Right. It's one of those guarantees we have in life, right? Death and taxes. We're gonna have to deal with them and deal with them in a lot of different ways. If you look at the big picture, the United States is in right now over $28 trillion of debt, and the vast majority of Americans' net worth is inside of these IRAs and 401ks. And so if there's a comeback plan for Uncle Sam, you can probably make a good bet to say that he's going to lean on these IRAs and 401ks in the future. So one of the things we do with our clients is make sure we have a game plan that we reduce what goes to Uncle Sam and maximize what stays in our client's pocket.
And there is, of course, then that concern, and that kind of leads to that, right, of your taxes going up because of all that stuff. So we want to right now find some ways that people can reduce their taxes, right? So how does that kind of work, and what can you do for someone?
Right. Like I said, tax laws are constantly changing and evolving. So the last thing you want to do is think you're okay and that you have it covered, but the whole basis of your plan is based on old tax law. You want to make sure that your plan is constantly being reviewed, right? That you have an annual refresh to make sure that your plan is keeping up with those changes. Because if you do look at it big picture, right now, tax rates are pretty low if you compare it to where taxes have been historically. So if you're looking at that, it may make sense, hey, paying taxes on some of my monies today to protect them from taxes in the future when tax rates may be higher, that might make sense for you. And at the end of the day, everybody's different, right? Everyone's situation is different. You want to make sure that you're sitting down with someone that looks at your specific situation and gives you individualized recommendations.
And I imagine that's why we often hear the Roth, right, in IRA and 401k, because that's something that, because taxes are so low right now, a lot of people feel some benefit to paying them today and not tomorrow.
Absolutely, right? You moving that money from 401k and IRA, these tax bomb type accounts where those taxes are pending, right? They're looming over us.
You're right. They're waiting for you. They're going to be there, right?
Right. They're going to be there. So using that and leveraging other accounts like Roth IRAs, tax-free accounts is a great move.
All right. Let's talk then about why having someone like you and your team then is so beneficial when it comes to not just tax planning, but getting that entire retirement plan together.
There's a lot to retirement. There's a lot to understand and get a feel for. It's hard for the everyday retiree to go out and learn all these different parts of retirement, from investing to tax planning. You want someone, a professional in your corner that has your best interests at heart, that acts as a fiduciary to make sure that they're helping you live out your dreams throughout all of retirement.
And Phil, you have a special offer for our viewers of Daytime Columbus today.
Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, we're offering a complimentary retirement plan just for you. This will allow myself and the team to personally work with you. That means we'll be able to provide you a roadmap. We'll be able to analyze where you are right now and then discuss further your best steps to get ready for a successful retirement. really, you can call it a game plan to get where you need to be. The number to call is 614-963-3997. Again, that's 614-963-3997.
Phil Huff, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.